Okay, this is a quick commentary guide sort of thing for my recent world record, DKCR 80%. Do note that most of this stuff is only going to, or rather this guide is only catered to the Wii version of DKCR. DKCR 3D and HD have physics differences and other things, so this is not entirely compatible, although some things do carry over. Getting right into the general movement of the game, each roll you do will cost about 2 frames, so you want to minimize them as much as you can, really. When you're trying to grab Diddy, you have 2 options, really, depending on the situation you're in. You can either immediately grab him after you jump, or you can grab him immediately before you land. And if you're holding a Diddy barrel when you land, and you do a roll, the roll will automatically break it for you. 1-1's quite simple, there's not much to talk about here, really. I'll leave the first instance of going to the map in. On the digital version, so on Wii U eShop version, all the loads on the map are a lot more consistent, so you can get quite good with quite consistent with like timing your menuing presses well. However, you can still like get good at it on disc as well. It's just not always the same amount of time every time. 1-2 is a very difficult level when you're starting out. At the moment I'm just pace locked by a cycle on this wheel here. Got some decent leeway to make it. See, I had about a second and a bit there to wait. I'm going quite fast here. The cycle I make here is definitely not recommended at beginner level. I'm getting a ledge hop on that to clip up on the platform more easily. I'll explain that more when it becomes more relevant. Throughout the whole level, I'm actually climbing diagonally, so holding up left or up right at a 45-degree angle. For some reason this is like 1.5 times as fast as regular, like just holding up. I don't know why. Let's skip through this. And also of note is that if you're playing with Wiimote controls, as opposed to nunchuck controls, which I use, you'll actually have faster acceleration when climbing vertically. One 3 is another rather simple level, there's not too much going on here. In a time attack you have to go over and bounce on those guys, but you can just go underneath with Diddy. I recommend doing a full jump here as soon as you kill the last enemy, so that you don't tilt the platform in a bad way. Alternatively here, you can actually do a full jump as soon as you come off this platform, so around about here, and then get a neutral bop on the frogs up there, and then you'll land on around here. That can be an alternative. It doesn't really lose any time, or save any time. In this ending section here, I'm getting a neutral bop off this T key, and again I'm going for a ledge hop, so I'm going for a quick roll jump. And what I do, although you definitely do not have to do it at the beginner level, definitely not recommended, is I'm not quite high enough to get onto the platform, but you see I get a ledge hop here, which clips me up onto the platform. Really, you get this if you're just within like a decent range of the ledge that you're facing. This range is a lot smaller in 3D and HD, by the way. And yeah, and then I do a very quick roll jump to cancel the ledge hop animation. That's called a dead roll jump, by the way. It's basically when you do a roll jump, or rather you do a roll and then you jump in the first 2 frames of the roll. That'll give you a dead roll jump, which is, yeah, basically removes most of your roll speed from the jump. Most of the time you do it by accident. Which is, you know, not a good thing. But yeah, sometimes you do want to do it intentionally. And another note in 1.5 as we're now getting into a cannon level, when you're blasting through cannons, you want to be holding in the direction that you're shooting. Especially right here. This skip is not possible without doing that. So if you're not making that skip and you don't know why, then it's because you're not holding right. In this section, I'm holding right until I land on the ground, then I let go for a bit here, so I don't hold any direction. Then I do a quick roll jump, and I also pull back while I'm doing that roll jump. Gotta be careful here because this actually has a weird damage hitbox. And also around here, I'm actually hovering here because this ledge is a bit weird. If you land on it like around here, it will actually just shunt you off and kill you in this pit. If you land on it earlier, it won't kill you, but it's a safer bet in full game to just hover a little bit and take like a couple tenths of time loss. It doesn't matter when you time this shot here, you've got plenty of leeway. Doesn't lose any time. And you just buff at the last shot. I'm not actually going to skip through the minecart levels because the minecart tech is important. Do a full jump right before you get to this yellow thing on the ground. That's how I like to set it up. Now this section is can be a bit difficult to get down for sure. Definitely don't jump too early, but you can get away with jumping fairly early. Like you can see I've jumped here before the platform's even visible. That platform will come down. A way that this section can be more consistent, or at least the way I like to do it in 3D and HD, where it's harder, is to, after I've pounded that thing in, kind of align myself with the right here, do a full jump, and then don't start holding right until I'm about to land on this first platform. And that usually makes it work for me. Because then we want to get a ledge hop, clip us up onto this one. And I also grazed against the wall there. When you're grazing against walls, it's actually faster to hold the grab button, or press input a grab if you're about to hit a wall, because that will reduce the speed you lose by quite a bit. Let's keep going. So going for a ceiling boost here. I can't remember if I get it or not. Oh nice, I do. Yeah, additionally, if you grab when you hit a ceiling, if it's a flat ceiling, it will simply prevent you from losing speed that you normally would lose if you hit a flat ceiling. If it's a slanted ceiling like that, you can actually gain some speed. And in the minecart sections, you of course want to also be looking out for coins like that. I was not circling around that thing at all. In the minecart sections, and also the following I'm about to say is not the same in 3D and HD. It's similar but not the same. You want to generally be riding down slopes unless you're at your highest speed, at which point you want to be avoiding them, and you want to avoid up slopes at all costs. So it's actually not always optimal to ride down slopes. This is not true in 3D and HD, where you can actually save time by riding down slopes unless they're too steep. And an example of a down slope that's too steep is the one around the O earlier in the level, or this one right here. That's too steep. This last jump can be a bit tricky. You want to jump around about here. If you jump too late, you'll go quite low. If you jump early, then you'll still make it to the upper rail, but you'll make it around here, at which point you should do an extra jump to clear this upslope. As long as you get these 3 coins, you should be fairly good in terms of coins. Now, Mugly can be quite a difficult... Mugly's regarded as one of the hardest shiny golds to get in time attack mode when you're going for them casually. Now I'm going to talk about an audio cue here, and I actually have a kind of scuffed tutorial for the fast Mugly strat that I will link in the description. Once you get the audio cue down that I mentioned in that tutorial, you can actually use it for every single one of the hits. At least, I mean, you can use it for all of the hits like this one, where you have to wait for him to remove his weak spot. But yeah, you kind of want to jump between like the 7th and 8th chomping sounds on Wii, and also in HD. In 3D you want to jump a little bit later. I can't exactly remember where off the top of my head. And you want to like start holding right, pretty much right before, pretty much a bit before you reach the peak of your jump. And that should get you, if you did it right, get Mugly to stop here. There's about a 6-frame window for that as well. So it's not the tightest thing ever. You can definitely get very consistent at it. Yeah, I think I'm going to refrain from mentioning too much because I do have a equally scuffed Mugly tutorial that I can link instead. Also, something I forgot to mention earlier, if you're playing with Wiimote controls, or if you're playing with D-pad controls in 3D, which, for the record, is recommended in that game, you'll have to hold the run button. Also, if you're playing with alternate controls on Switch, but I don't recommend that, you'll have to hold down the run button in any case where you're not moving at roll speed, in order to move at like your top speed. Just including that just so you can kind of get used to the timing of the menuing. World 2 is the only world where when you're entering it, DK doesn't do like one jump on the world map, he does like, if I quickly go back here, he does 3 jumps instead of just 1, but only for going into World 2, like boop, boop, boop. That makes it a bit harder to time. 2-1 is one of 3 what can be referred to as early game killers, and also, if I go back here a little bit, this is a quite nice and easy coin to pick up. I don't really have a visual cue for this, but you kind of want to do a short hop right as you reach like the flat bit of ground. That should get you to bop off all 3 of them. It's pretty feel-based though, you can get used to it. So yeah, 2-1 is quite a difficult level when you're starting out. I'm quite consistent at it now, but definitely it's not the easiest thing ever. I was doing the grab thing there to prevent some speed loss. This is we refer to this as just 2-1 bounce, not a very interesting name, I know. You kind of want to do a full jump like right as you, or very shortly after you completely roll off the platform, like kind of around here. If you jump too late, you might not be high enough to make it on. And then you want to go for a momentum bounce, so that means pressing the bounce button on the frame you hit the crab. And you see here I went 1 frame early, my jetpack's starting to come out now, and then I hit it on the next frame, so I don't quite get it 1 frame off. But if you do, you can just keep holding the jump button from there, so full bounce and then hover immediately, and that will get you up. And of note with this section, if on this guy you get like a sizable pushback, that means you won't actually make it here unless you hover, so just be careful. Look out for like a big pushback. It shouldn't happen, but it might. If you jump fairly early after hitting this crab, you'll get this coin as well, which you don't really need, but it can be helpful. Sorry, my throat's a bit dry. I should have had a cup of tea before this. In this section, I intentionally do a short hop here, holding the run button, or, well, I play with nunchucks so it doesn't have a run button, but if you're playing with Wiimote, of course, hold the run button. Just a short hop there to delay the perfect amount. Also get a coin for free. I kind of jump when I'm flush with the edge of that platform. And then I do a roll here, and I don't immediately, but I fairly quickly go into a full jump, and then I keep holding the jump button so I get a bounce off the crab. That is a rising bounce. So that's how you can get a high bounce with Diddy while keeping your speed, but have it not be very difficult. I mean, it's still quite tough, but It's not like frame perfect difficult like momentum bounces are. About a 2 or 3 frame window for that one. 2-2 beginning's not got too much going on really. Kind of jumping when I'm around the middle of this platform and these barrels here on Wii. In 3D and HD, you have to jump a bit earlier, I think. I'm remembering off the top of my head, it might not be true, it might be later, but it might be earlier. Do a short hop when you're about flush with the edge of the checkpoint, if you want to get onto the button as soon as possible. You can start inputting a jump as soon as the DK is at its biggest, pretty much, or like, yeah, around about here. This roll isn't necessary, but it can be a bit faster. Remember, fast climbing, holding diagonally. This section is quite difficult to explain in a nice way. So, kind of listen out for when the squid's firing here. So, like, it goes 1, and then, okay, so it goes like 1, and then jump. 1, jump. So, if I go back a little bit. Jump. 1, jump. And that's if you want to go for the strat that I'm going to show here, which is, I mean, you really don't lose anything by trying it, unless you really screw it up. I'm just jumping in place, not holding any direction. I do a quick roll jump here, potentially take damage. And then I'm doing 3 full jumps here, so holding left again around here. 3 full jumps, no rolls. 1, 2, 3. I'm jumping off pretty much like the frame before I would collect this banana, or like when I collect the banana. You've got some leeway there. And then I wait a little bit and then I hover. And if I've done it correctly, I will grab this grass, and then I can quickly climb around and grab here. And that saves about 4 or 5 seconds, if you get it. That's touch grass cycle. If you miss it, then just wait for the next cycle. So get a squid bounce here. Again, some full jumps here, because you've got to wait for these squids to go past anyway. So you won't really gain anything by going faster there. 2-3 beginning is, we skip this cannon, that's really about it. The only thing you need to know in 2-3 is that, or rather in rocket levels in general, how you move in the rocket doesn't save any time. And there are 3 coins right before the checkpoint that you need to get. And that's literally it. Skip through it. Not very interesting. 2 falls are a rather simple level. I've not got too much to explain here. I like to do a full jump as soon as the barrel comes on screen, to give myself plenty of leeway for the next short hop below the jellyfish. Jumping here is not necessary. It's much safer to do just a short hop here and get 1 extra roll. This just saves 1 roll, but it does run the risk of you bonking there, or jumping too early and then bonking here. So, really up to you if you want to go for a 2 frame time save. Throw the barrel quite quickly to get those guys out the way. If you want to go for double pound, the cue I like using is, yeah, jumping right around here when DK's around about, about flush with, or coming up to like the middle of this little knobbly bit here. And I actually get it. Nice. Good example then. Short hop quickly through that thing. RNG might screw you over here with cannonballs. You might have to adapt on the spot. Thankfully I didn't here. But yeah, you might have... sorry. You might have to throw in an extra roll or 2 there to make it work. Or do some other movement shenanigans. 2-5 is like the second of 3 early game killers, and specifically in World 2. I'm jumping, whoops, I'm paused. And jumping pretty much when I'm coming up to about here. I don't think about... I don't look for a visual cue, I kind of have like what I call a rhythm cue. I just like time it out in my head. I know how long I have to wait before I jump. But yeah, it turns out it's about flush with that flip panel, which is nice. I can actually get a rising bounce off this squid here, and I'm just inputting a very light rising bounce. If I don't do that, if I just do a neutral bop, I'll get hit by this jellyfish. If I go too high, I will not make it on this platform. So, it's not really risky. You just have to be careful when doing it. And yeah, that saves that hit, which saves a bit over half a second. I say a bit over half a second because although it's exactly half a second that you're frozen if you take hit, you'd have to do this section the tiniest bit differently to get that barrel and bring you back up to full health. This jump here is very important actually, and then bouncing on that guy. Throwing in an extra roll here makes it 100% consistent to roll under this tentacle, and do a kind of light medium jump there. Makes it 100% consistent to get under that tentacle. If you don't do that extra roll, then it's quite luck-based. I'll explain that more if something else comes up down the line that I have to explain. The damage boost right I do, I take a hit here because it's a bit faster. Jump off quite early. If you're fast enough, you'll still have invincibility frames by this point and barely be able to avoid this tentacle that's gonna come up here for a little bit. I'm not watching in 1080p right now, but there's a puddle here on the ground I use as a visual cue to time my full jump. If I go a bit earlier, I might bounce on the crab. Actually, I might have done it here. Oh yeah, okay, I bounced on the crab there. You can land far enough that you don't actually bounce on the crab. With the drop here, just be wary of this tentacle and then just hover a little bit, kind of like... hard to describe when, but you'll get a feel for it. Whoops. Do a short hop as you get through. So, a short hop as you kill that guy. Land between these two guys. While you can avoid the damage here, it's far better to just intentionally take the damage in any percent. And then, quite careful, roll under this tentacle. Land quite far on this platform. Okay, you've got to roll quite deep here. Again, do a full jump very shortly after you go off the platform here. Full bounce, and then mid bounce. And then a quick full roll jump will get you over the jellyfish. I know 2 seconds the third early game killer. Wall 2 in general is really tough, so don't get too demotivated if you lose runs to Wall 2 all the time. This level is really just about learning where the enemies are. I like to do a full bounce there and then do a quick full roll jump. Do a full jump as you get next to this thing. Full jump and then full bounce and a neutral bop. Then jump when you're about flush with the edge of the checkpoint. Full bounce. This section you have to be fairly quick, you can't really dilly-dally too much. I lost a little bit of time there, but you also don't have to be super optimal, because all that matters is just getting to this stone as fast as possible. It really doesn't matter too much where you're positioned on stone exactly. Be very wary of the waves lingering hitbox, and then actually grabbing to uncrouch, because this lets you roll much sooner. If the wave starts coming up before you kill this crab, you might have some problems with the ending. But hopefully that doesn't happen. I like to go for a momentum bounce there, and I actually got it, which is nice. That works if you get the frame before a momentum bounce as well. So you have a 2-frame window to make that work, but I quite like it. I feel fairly consistent with it. 2B is just kind of here. I recommend staying around the middle so you can adapt to where they are. This is really just about getting good reaction times with these guys and also getting into rhythm. Don't pull back too hard when you're... So after you've bopped on them, and you're trying to land close to them, don't pull back too hard or else you'll turn around, and then you won't be able to pound, and then you'll probably get confused and freak out. It's happened to me a lot. For the stack phases, I love this visual cue here, where you have DK facing this way, and then the banana and the grass are kind of like this. I like doing this for both of them. In this case, the crabs spawned over here, so I'm going to wait kind of in the middle of this shadow here. If they had spawned over here, then you can kind of wait so that the edge of DK is flush with, or the right side of DK is flush with this edge of the shadow here. Also, be sure to bop all 3 in succession so you get an extra coin. You shouldn't have to worry too much about money if you've been getting all the coin sources I've mentioned, which really all of them, except for that 1 and 2-1, are quite consistent. So again, right here. You really want them to spawn over here in the second phase. The further right they spawn, the slower it is. So in this case, I'm going to wait on the opposite side of this banana, and then get them. If they had spawned over here, then you'd be able to hit them as soon as they start moving the other way from hitting the right wall. Of course, I didn't get to shut off here, and again, get 3 bounces. Let's quickly show what I meant with the wall transition things. Just 1 bounce there, see? Unlike going into wall 2. This is the first time where we've had kind of a movement where you're pounding something and then you immediately want to roll. It's really hard to explain how exactly to optimize this, but like you kind of want to pre-pound the ending, I guess is the best way to explain it. So I've like kind of stopped pounding around here. Like, I think I've kind of stopped shaking my Wii Remote with the intention of pounding around about here, maybe earlier. And then from this point I'm kind of, or very shortly after this point, I'll start holding right, and then don't shake at all from here. And then as soon as it's pounded in, or like you can actually also do it like a frame or 2 before it's pounded in, I then like input a roll. You can only input the roll like after the pound is fully dead out, I'm pretty sure. Jump quite early because you can catch that block when it's coming down. Also be careful if you practice this in time attack, because that guy is not there in time attack in some versions of the game. You got to turn around here because you need a ledge hop to get onto this platform, so that's why you have to turn around. This strat I go for here is quite risky. There's like a 2-frame window to do it. I highly recommend just jumping a little bit later than that and then hovering into this barrel here. And then the rest of this is just damage boosts. Not too bad. If you go for the strat I did and you go too early, that means you take more damage, which just means you have to adjust to doing this section with solo DK. You don't need this Diddy barrel, but I like getting it. If you come off that vine at the earliest possible time, then you actually will be too fast to grab these coins here. So wait just like a little bit, and be careful with this bit. You want to, again, jump when DK's about flush with the edge of the platform, but definitely do not go too early. It's okay to go too late in an RTA setting, do not go too early or these guys will send you to your death. And I recommend grabbing here as well. You see I brushed the wall a little bit there, that prevented some of my speed loss. Okay, 3-2 is the second longest level in the run. Well, actually no. I don't know how accurate that is, considering the last 2 bosses are theoretically faster but can take way longer. The thing with the pounding and then immediately rolling again, over there. This is the bird room. I like waiting on the left one here. Just wait a little bit for the bird and then do a short hop. It's kind of no fixed way to do this. It's really hard to explain. But yeah, neutral bop off that guy, full bounce off this guy, and then no hovering there to get them to that guy. If you're too fast, then these guys might not be close enough on the y-axis and you'll take damage on this one, which just means that you'll have to bounce on the last one, which is yet to come up, first, and then hover over and get him. You see, I just kind of barely made it there. With practice, that part gets consistent. Of note, if you do screw that part up, you are going to be at a bit of a coin deficit, so it's very important to not do that. But if you do, there are backups. We're in no danger of meeting the Ward 3 coin requirement. You see, we've already got 28, but the Ward 4 coin requirement is the one we're worried about. You can go for double button hits here. That's basically going in the middle and hitting 2 at once, but it's quite risky. I don't recommend it. It's about a 2-frame window. Okay, so before I explain this part, I want you to imagine you've kind of got a metronome in your head that's going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 is shooting out the cannon. 2 is holding right. 3 is jumping off the button, and well, you don't really need 4, but yeah, you go 1, 2, 3, like that. That's the easiest way to explain how to do button jump. This strat saves about a second. If you miss it, I don't recommend going for it again. Just wait in the cannon until it points this way, and then yeah, do the section normally. Remember to hold right when you're shooting from there. And that was a very nice and actually quite recent use of the grab thing against walls. Also, we kind of do a full jump there because that part kicks some debris up. That just allows us to land on it sooner. You can do a full jump as soon as, or like you can do a full jump like a couple frames before that platform like starts turning around to get onto that one. I have a rhythm cue I like doing for this part, based on when the guys start moving for the next 2 shots. So for the first one I do and for the second one I just kind of count 2 seconds, so like like that. And that's 3-2. Very long level, but you'll get used to it. 3-4. This level can actually go... It's easy to go wrong in this level. It's quite easy to die here. Jump quite late here, just a short hop. 3D and HD, the section's completely different, but I don't have time to explain it, sorry. What I want to go for here is a short hop when I'm like dead in the middle here. So short hop, lowest possible jump height. Then I want to go for a momentum bounce here. I think I actually got it. No, I didn't. I was 1 frame off on the momentum bounce. So yeah, Diddy jetpacks come out right there. So I did not quite get it. If I did, I would get on top of that platform, and then you can kind of refer to the IL for the rest of the movement there. Because I didn't get it, I'm going to wait a little bit and take damage. And then, yeah, kind of just do this whole thing. If you are low on coins and you don't care too much about losing time, you can farm some coins in that section right before the checkpoint. Full jump right before I go off that first platform, or no, like pretty much in the moment I go off that first platform, full jump, gets the coin as well. Don't roll jump too quickly here or else you'll die. Kind of like a medium jump there. You see I got pushed by the platform a little bit as well. This is kind of self-explanatory really. And wait around here because this platform's activated, but the big shark is not activated until you go a certain distance to the right. So Don't activate him too early, so he doesn't like snipe you before you hit the barrel, pretty much. Make sure you're rolling into the crate, so it will break it automatically. Then shortly after that you can start charging with Rambi. Of note when charging with Rambi is each charge loses 4 frames as opposed to the normal 2. But this is the only Rambi level in any percent. These block breaking sections are quite awkward. There is a fastest way to do them. It's very hard to explain. I'm kind of doing a rather quick short hop shortly after I hit that set of blocks there. And I'm then kind of holding full right until I hit the wall. If I did it successfully, that will send me all the way down here very quickly. If not, you'll stumble on the blocks a bit. Oh, I messed that up, so I can't go for the second one. But normally I would be on like the higher set of blocks there, and then I would pull back shortly before hitting this wall, and yeah. You can kind of count like about a second after you hit this block to time the block jump here, so 1, 2, like a bit over a second. The block jumps are like 2 frame windows-ish. They're fast if you get them, but yeah, they don't always work. And the second block jump I got a visual key for, right as Rambi's flush with that yellow thing. And the rest is very simple. Now 3B is the first instance of major RNG in the run. And you're going to want him to... Really, this level should have its own tutorial. He can throw bombs towards you, he can also throw them away from you. I was very lucky here and I got 3 bombs in the first phase. Of note, do not throw the... Okay, so basically you want to grab the second bomb only. If you grab the first one, then the second one will knock it out. It will kind of like knock it out of your hands. So grab the second one. Wait until he's thrown the third one, if he's aiming towards you, and then start throwing them towards him. Just spam the grab button, because sometimes it can cause him to drop it the wrong way. There's like a whole lot of backups you have to do if that doesn't go right, but unfortunately I don't really have the time to explain them. In this bit, I'm waiting kind of right of center, but facing left. He's very likely to go to the right, like at least 90% likely to go to the right here. There is a small chance he goes to the left. This allows me to kind of adjust to both of them. Predictably, he went to the right. Now, in this section, I screwed up. I got the guy. I should not have thrown that bomb. I actually should have waited and just gone for no bomb throws there. Because now he's only going to chuck 1 bomb down here. If I had not thrown any bombs at him, he would still be on 3 hits out of 6. And so he would have waited and then thrown this big load of bombs here. I'm pretty sure. And then I'd just throw 3 at him in that phase. And that would get him down. And Ward 4 is by far the easiest ward in the run. Ward 1 is probably the hardest level here. A good bit with this beginning here. Make sure to get this coin. You can jump kind of late and bounce on that guy. If you delay this cannon shot exactly 1 frame, you can roll on that collapsing platform. I don't know why you have to delay it exactly a frame. In 3D and HD it works every time. Really not too much going on here. The only thing is that I want to land on the very left of these carts of crystals in them. because that will snap me to the... You always get snapped to the center when you get into them, so saves us a tiny bit of time. So just hold right on the first platform here and then roll on the second one. This strat is called 3-framer, and it's because it's got a 3-frame window. Surprise, surprise. If you jump on the 3rd frame, you will take a little bit longer to get into the cannon. If you jump any later than that and commit to it by holding right, you will die. Yeah, so definitely don't die while trying it. If you do not feel comfortable going for that, then just wait a little bit and then go for the next cannon, which is about 1.5 seconds slower, I think. Something like that. I'm probably going to skip through this level a little bit. There's really not much to mention in most of this level. Other than at this point, keep an eye on your coins. If you are kind of like at 17 or less by this point, you want to start worrying. Yeah, I think it's 17 is the number. Like, 18 or above is good. 17, you want to start worrying there. You can really do whatever in this section, honestly. I'm pretty sure jumping does affect your position in some way, but like I don't know exactly how, and it's too minuscule to really point out in any way. And in that section I'm just going for 2 neutral bops off the T keys and just pulling back a tiny bit after the second one. Full jump, like kind of when I'm between, kind of when I'm in the middle of the gap, I'm doing a full jump. And then a smallest possible bounce while hot, like smallest big bounce, and then big bounce. I drop off when I touch the 3rd banana. This jump just looks cool, doesn't do anything. Yeah, get that coin, and also get this coin. And be completely sure to not hold any directions on the joystick, or don't hold any directions in that section. But from here, always hold right. And there we go. The rest is very simple. Oh, actually, if you do not have enough coins by this point, then the backup is to go into the background, so full jump and then bounce. Go into the background, and you get 4 extra coins as an emergency backup. And 4-4 has nothing of note. There are no coins in this level, so you can pretty much just skip this one. There's nothing to know here. 4B, on the other hand, has a lot to talk about. So, of course, this skip exists. You do it in every phase. The way the moles work is it's a little complicated. So you'll have to bop 10 moles in every phase. You kind of think of them as being in sets of 3, ideally. So 3, 3, 3, and then 1 at the end. If the phase goes ideally, that is. The moles can appear anywhere. You see I've already got like 1 over here and 1 over here. You have to be kind of smart with how you kill them. Like in this case, it's not worth me going over here. So even though that's the second mole that's been, even though that's the second mole, I'm going to kill the 3rd one first. And you see now I'm losing some time because that's the 4th mole. Pretty much you can think of it like any time between like the 1st and 4th, and then 4th and 7th, and then 7th and 10th mole. That's where you're losing time in these phases. So I've lost some time there. That was good. So I really only lost time between 1st and 4th mole there. And also be careful when you're hitting them, because they hold their pickaxes above their heads for a bit, so you can't hit them when they're like that. You'll get very used to the timing of hitting them though. And now when you're between phases, you want to look out for which cart is left standing. In this case, I got quite lucky. You want it to be this cart or this cart, ideally. These are the best two. I mean, okay, it gets worse as you go further along. If it's these two carts, you just have to do like a short or medium jump from here to get to the train. If it's this middle one, you have to do a full jump. If it's the latter two, you have to hover to the train. Also be careful if this cart is the first one shaking, of course. You can kind of go as soon as the first cart starts falling. Like, if we go frame by frame. I'm starting to roll because it's going off. And yeah, because it was very close, I only needed a short hop. And now, how you lose time overall in 4B, at least before the final phase, is actually kind of operates on frame rules in a way, where each mole phase is kind of on a 2-second cycle. So if you miss one cycle, you have to wait 2 seconds to catch the next one. Imagine a train, basically. In this case, I just barely caught the cycle. That was helped by the fact that I got the best cart position, so I just barely caught the cycle here. If I had gotten anything in the middle or later than that, I probably would not have caught it. But yeah, you can see, like, right as I get on here, it starts shaking. So yeah, same thing again. As you get further into the level, the moles start to, like, hide away more often, which is a pain, but nothing you can really do. Just gotta get used to it. Okay, good, I got the polar opposite here, so I can show that. Yeah, you do want to be careful for dips in the track, or rather not dips, but like bumps in the track. If you're trying to get to the train and it happens to go over a bump, that can cause problems, so it's safer to jump and hover a little early there so you have good height. And I did catch that cycle. Still. So I got kind of unlucky there. Still worked though. Also, throughout this whole first 3 phases of this fight, also you don't have to jump to the train here, it just looks cool. You want to be really looking out for your coins there, because if you don't get lucky with coins here, so if you don't get a lot of coins from chaining bounces, you're going to be in trouble later on, possibly. Right, Max. That's the guy's name. You want to look out for the first 2 carts that shake in each phase. So, that one and that one, because he will not be in those 2. That is true for every hit. So you can only be in this one, or these 2. So in this case I kind of position myself like in the middle here. And eventually you can kind of tell which one he's going to come out of, but it's also not very easy to figure it out. Yeah, you need 4 hits to kill him. I know he's going to be in one of these 3. If I had an extra heart here, I would actually just park myself in the middle there, but I don't want to lose Diddy for 5-1. So he's going to wait in the safe zone. Be careful of his pickaxe hitbox. Thankfully he gave me a heart here. His hitbox is really weird, but you can kind of get a feel for it. That's Ward 4 done. So Ward 5 is where the difficulty ramps up considerably. This beginning section, you want to jump quite late, land like at the very edge of this flower. Don't do quite a full bounce from there. But... oh yes, I screwed this up in the run. I did not bounce high enough. I actually quite badly screwed this up, I think. Yeah. And then if you're too far left on that flower, it will not get you into the cannon, so I lost a couple seconds there. This shot here, I'm trying to cut it as close as possible to this guy. There's about a 2-frame window to get into that last cannon without getting hit by the last guy. If you don't, then you'll take damage and you'll have to get this one. You kind of have to be on 4 hearts. Just skipping to that vine saves nothing, but it looks cool. You kind of have to be on 4 hearts for this level, at least for the middle section that's going to come up. This level's quite difficult if you're playing with Wiimote. because or rather, this is the only level in any percent where Wiimote is disadvantaged compared to Nunchuck. And it's actually quite significantly disadvantaged because you need to hold the run button to hover at full speed, but the run button is the same as the grab button, which means you grab the vines. So, best way to kind of do it, if you're playing with Wiimote, is to bounce off this guy, hold the grab button, and then quickly jump off this vine. So grab and then jump off that vine quickly. Also be sure to still be picking up coins here. The coin total towards 7 from here is like really easy to hit, but you still gotta like actively kind of try. This section, just be careful really, you can kind of figure it out just by watching. Keep grabbing this one by the way, you do not need to jump early there. It's risky to do that, and it doesn't save anything because these vines are already set in motion, so just wait. It's a lot safer. I don't want to jump onto this vine as early as possible, kind of. And then conversely, you want to jump onto this one as late as possible, because I'm pretty sure after you reach this point, the T keys in this next section will be activated. Namely, this one is kind of trying to remove your space, like get rid of your space to roll there, so just be careful. Full jump, neutral bop, and then hover to the third vine. You can kind of do this with Wiimote as well. And climb up a little bit, and then kind of wait until the vine's perfectly still. That's when it's safe to jump off and start hovering. If you're playing with Wiimote, I honestly do not know what the backup is there, but yeah, I can't imagine it's that different. I do a quick dead roll jump here at the end to skip the ledge hop. Right, 5-2 is a very difficult level to optimize. It's one of the most complicated gameplay levels in the game. Wiimote will have an easier time here, but Nunchuck can still fares perfectly fine. Yeah, kind of small hop as soon as I get to the edge of this platform here. Don't be tempted by that diddy barrel, by the way. You'll just immediately take the hit again. Kind of tight rolls there to get under that guy. Kind of a full jump right as I hit that platform. That's just a neutral bop there. Not doing any jump input on that guy. I recommend hanging around, kind of around here on this platform, and then just, yeah, kind of rolling with it. I'm a bit for that, but... And you kind of want to jump when you're pretty much... Hard to explain. When it's kind of like at a 90-degree angle. When it's kind of like... Yeah, coming like just after it is like the 3 o'clock angle, basically. Then I want to just jump, full jump, and then hold left short, and hold left a little bit after that. If I'm not quite jumping straight up, if I'm jumping like a bit to the right, for example, I want to hold left earlier than that. And you can grab this thing quite high up, actually. But it doesn't matter too much in RTA. Lose Diddy there. I just recently found out there was a visual cue for this next jump here, namely this rope here. If you input the jump as you go past the rope, you can't really go wrong. Grab this bit at the bottom, because as soon as you grab it, it's when it starts moving. Don't go too fast in this section, but go at a reasonable pace, and then hold the grab button, and you'll grab the grass on the other side, and then you can do big jump.mp4, which is a very funny looking strat that saves like a couple temps. If this guy jumps to the right, so be sure to react to it. If this guy jumps to the right, which is less common, just do a short hop from here and land on this bit. If you've at all taken a death in this level, these snakes will be in quite a bad position. They'll be kind of like right here. But if you don't take a death, then this jump should be quite easy. Now if you're going for the ending strat that I'm going for, kind of jump when DK's flush with this rope here, full jump, and then kind of just above like a short hop as soon as you get here. Oh, I kind of messed it up. I jumped too high, so I did not land on the flat bit. I landed on the slope. Didn't roll. I jump. Or I go for a jump when I use this bit here in the background as a reference. Full jump there. Do not hover too late or you will die if you're going for this ending strat. Which I do not recommend unless you're going for like a very good time, like top 3. Like, I don't recommend it unless you're going for like a 118 load remove time. Yeah, and then a quick dead roll jump at the end as well. The safer strat is just to ride the platform normally. And it's about like 2 seconds slower to ride the platform normally compared to a perfect ending of that fast strat. There is also kind of like an in-between strat, but you can watch Pack Attack Sayal if you want to find out about that one. So I'm positioning myself on the left of this platform here. Kind of, I have like a music cue for this, so I never think about the visual, but I can see here that I'm waiting until these are kind of level with each other. Do a fairly quick roll jump, full roll jump, neutral bop off that guy, then just roll over those platforms. If I'm too slow, I won't be able to roll across those platforms, but just don't be too slow. This bit's a bit weird, but just keep hovering until you're above the platform, and then you can stop hovering and just do a jump. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain how to time this jump here. If you go too early, you will die. You'll get a kind of a ledge hop that will fling you into the abyss. If you go at a certain timing, I can't remember when, you can kind of bonk off this flower. Oh no, it's a mushroom, Leah. You can kind of bonk on the mushroom somehow. It's got a weird wall hitbox going on. I can't exactly remember how to deal with that if it happens, because I've kind of figured out how to jump in a way that doesn't make that happen. So, sorry I can't be too helpful with that, but yeah. Sometimes when you do this jump you will miss this platform, and you'll land on this one. That's okay, don't freak out. Just, you'll have to hover a little bit, lose a little bit of time. Right, this ending section is where all the deaths tend to happen. So don't jump too early here, don't get hit by the spider. But jump kind of... yeah. You know what I mean. Do a fairly quick roll jump off there, full roll jump. Do not go too early, but kind of like as you go off the platform, do a full jump. Land here. Roll a little bit and then do a short hop onto this one. Short hop or like thing above, or short hop or like the height above short hop, basically. And then a short hop here. It's not too strict. You can pound when you're landing on this platform to lock your position, which is really helpful. Don't jump too early here. And then, yeah, this ending, you can kind of, it kind of explains itself. If you go too fast in this section, though, you will not make it on this platform, you'll just die. So don't go too fast. And 5-4 is another very scary level when you're starting out, but it gets quite consistent if you practice it enough. Kind of just copy the movement from here, really. Counter lock your position. I use the tree as a visual cue for starting this roll jump. So as soon as I flush with the tree, or maybe a bit after if I'm feeling like going safe, I jump when I'm flush with the edge of the platform here. Full hop. And I do a full jump as soon as I go off the platform here. 2 quick short hops. Jump when I'm around about this mark, kind of when the middle of DK is like at the middle of that mark. Full jump there. And the same kind of timing for this rope here, so or maybe a bit later. Don't go too late here. I'm trying to get a ledge hop here to slow me down a little bit. I grab here so I don't do a hard bonk off this wall and just die. I'm doing a lot of short hops in this section. This section's quite scary to do fast, but yeah, lots of short hops here. That's not quite a short hop, that's a bit more. It's also a bit more than a short hop there, I think. Short hop as soon as I get that last guy killed. And then kind of hard to explain the timing here, you just have to get a feel for it. I do a full jump and pop off those two guys. And then full jump when I'm flush with this bit of wood here. Neutral bop off that guy. I go for momentum bounce here, but I don't quite get it here. Then the ending, it doesn't matter how fast you pound the gong, because you've got to wait for these guys anyway. And definitely do not jump too early. If you jump too early, you hit the ceiling. You can just walk into this and die in Wii. 3D and HD, you've got a big hitbox, so you can actually still hit the goal. 5-5's quite a chill level, I've not got too much to say here. Just, yeah, you kind of gotta... just copy and learn from this one, I've not got too much to add. Maybe at the ending I do. But yeah, this one kind of explains itself. Very chill level after a couple difficult ones here. In this section, the bottom teeth are have a larger hitbox than the top teeth, like quite a bit. You can be pretty much flush with the top teeth, but don't go too close to the bottom ones. Okay, here, in Wii only, I have to wait a little bit after I shoot out the cannon. In HD, and I think 3D, you can immediately hold right. You can always hold right here. It'll work. In Wii, you have to wait a little bit. So, like, right now, maybe like a frame or two ago, I started holding right. Go for the smallest possible big bounce there, and then grab immediately after. Still holding right the whole time. And see, the grab kind of came out there. Don't know why, but the grab is what lets you maintain speed there. If you don't do it, you'll lose your roll speed there. And then, yeah, the ending kind of explains itself. Got to be fairly tight on these shots, but it's not too bad. Hmm. 5-8 is also quite chill, honestly, I think. I'm doing a ceiling boost here to get a tiny time save, or I didn't quite get a ceiling boost, but you know what I was going for. Yeah, this is another one where you just kind of learn by watching. I've not got too much to add, at least not yet. Short hop when you're flush with the edge here, and then very quick full jump. This section can be a bit of a pain. So I grazed the wall a tiny bit here, but I grabbed so it didn't look like I lost that much time. If you go too early and hit that frog, then you'll have to bounce on that and climb up the top for a little bit. Which you really don't want to have to do, it's kind of sucky. Short hop, I went a bit late here, but short hop like shortly after I go past this point, so round about here. I went a little bit late here, as you can see. I recommend doing a full jump there to go straight here, rather than doing a short hop to go here. Just for safety reasons. It's a bit safer. In this section, mash the launch button, or rather, yeah, mash the jump button, because that launches you at the cannon sooner. That's JXD strat. And then the ending is really self-explanatory. 5B is the hardest boss in the run, execution-wise. There's no RNG, but it's just a very difficult boss. I'm going to try my best here to explain what I do here. So immediately pound using kind of when the DK icon gets big as a visual cue. Immediately pound and then start holding right. Jump shortly after. Pound and then immediately jump. Not immediately, because sometimes the pound won't go through if you do that too soon. Jump and hold left. hover a little bit, quick full roll jump, pound that one quite late as well. Jump, but not too early. If I jump too early, I'll just jump horizontally and it'll all go to shit, kind of. Pound this one kind of late as well. And then jump and quickly get this one. And congratulations, the first fade is the hardest part, so if you got past this point, well done. Intentionally wait a little bit here before I pound this one. So potentially wait, then kind of immediately go off again. The reason why I wait is so Manga Ruby can catch up to me a little bit. That might just be because I'm doing the first phase a bit fast. You might not need to delay so much if you're still learning, but yeah, I let Manga Ruby catch up to me a little bit. Because if I don't, then she will kind of go around here instead, and the whole thing will be a bit different. You really got to get used to how to lure Manga Ruby in emergency situations. But yeah, pound is quite high, so I'm still at the point where I can get a vertical jump rather than a left jump. And yeah, third phase is kind of rinse and repeat. There's only one thing I need to mention really. All of these cycles are a bit sooner in the third phase, if you do it this way. Right here, I'm pounding and then I'm immediately letting go of the grab button. So yeah, pounding while holding the grab button because of course I'm clinging to the grass, and then I immediately let go of it and start holding right. I wait a little bit before I full jump from here. And yeah. It can be a little difficult to time the last release onto Manga Ruby there. Don't worry too much if you miss it though. (6-1). Beginning of this level does change a little bit if you lose Diddy. All I can say is don't panic too much if you lose Diddy, just play it safe. So jump around right here, between those two planks, full jump, neutral ball. I use this piece of grass as a visual cue to do a short hop. So like that. So short hop there, short hop here. And then a very quick roll jump here, and I clip onto the edge there. If you go for this and you miss that, yeah, just you react is the most important part. But yeah, with that, I'm fast enough to make that with no hover, so damage boost, kind of jump when I get the coin there. Then I do a short hop when I kill. When I've killed both guys here, or the second guy, I will do a short hop. Full jump, pull back a little bit, and then start holding forward again. And then get a rising max off this guy. Roll through all of these quite easily. In this section, I'm actually holding the hover button fairly soon here. I'm already kind of holding it, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, like 5 frames of hovering there. I'm trying to intentionally lose a good bit of time there because I believe, I'm not really confirmed this, but I believe it makes this cycle easier that I'm going for. It's a fairly tight cycle, so shoot past this guy as soon as possible. Don't hold right the whole time, because this guy will get in your way. Yeah. Then if you're very fast, you can get past this one here. It's quite risky though. If you miss it, you will lose Diddy, and that will make the ending of this level harder, which you really don't want. And if I still have Diddy by this point, which I hopefully do, I can go for just a neutral bop on that guy. This is one of the weird types of enemies that gives you like quite a high neutral bop, and it's enough to get onto the platform. It should level out by this point, then I can just do a full roll jump from there. Diddy's got quite a big hitbox. If I had lost Diddy, my favourite backup is to just go up here by the puzzle piece and then do a roll jump into the goal. If you've lost Diddy by this point, go onto this platform and then do a full jump into full bounce here. Otherwise, just do this. Gonna pop that upslope. This first bit, your position's actually locked, so I'm just gonna skip through it. You can't gain or lose time there. Yeah. Not too much to explain here, really. It's kind of self-explanatory. I'll let it explain itself. If you know the basics of cart movement from 1.6, then I'll let this bit kind of play itself. Full bounce, then kind of small jump there. Don't go too early here. This ending is really boring. There's nothing you can do in the ending to speed it up. 6-3 is quite an easy level to die in, but it's also a really fun level once you learn it. Loads of skips here. First one to be careful on is right here. You want to jump kind of around the middle of this platform, or yeah, really just anywhere that's not like right at the end of it. Because there's a funny little thing in this game called oscillation, which is also in Tropical Freeze, if you're familiar with that. It's kind of, if you remember the thing I talked about with the extra roll I do in 2.5 to go under a tentacle, it's very much the reason for that. Because DK's hitbox is not a perfect circle, and that can sometimes cause different interactions with the roll. In this case, if you jump too late, while you might think it'll make the platform go down less, therefore you'll be higher, if you go too late, you can actually just completely miss this platform and die. Which you really don't want to do. This is also completely not applicable to 3D and HD, because you miss the platform every time in those versions, so you actually just get used to the alternative in 3D and HD is to do a full jump here and get up there. But yeah. If you do miss the platform, you can do that as a backup. But yeah. You can kind of roll around out here. You can kind of look when this thing is in a certain position. This first roll jump's not strictly necessary, really. It's probably the least important roll in the level. Definitely do not go too early here. Wait till the platform actually has time to tilt up. Wait a little bit here. I like to just tap right at this point, so I can just turn around on the spot. You can do it while holding right the whole time, but it makes the roll jump timing a bit tighter. I like to grab this around center, and then just kind of hold right from there. Yeah. You can of course go sooner than that, but don't cut it too close. And with that bit, I'm kind of holding. I'm starting to hold left as soon as I've like hit the apex of the cannon, so I can get that roll there. In 3D and HD, you can just do a full jump here to grab that, but you can't on Wii. And just don't go too early there, and you'll be fine. Right, 6-4. This level's a little bit scary. I actually majorly screw up the beginning in this record. It's quite embarrassing. I went too late on that jump there, and then yeah, just complete mess. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you. Intentionally take this hit. And then wait here for this boulder. This is a bit of this is the scariest jump in the level, I'd say. At least with the strat I do. And this is a type of jump I really need a better name for, because I keep explaining it as like, there's a jump that's like slightly above a short hop. It's a jump I use for a lot of my setups, and I really wish I knew how to explain it better. Because I do it here. So kind of when DK is... the edge of DK is like at the edge of this second to last plank here. I've called it a 4-frame jump in the past, but I don't know if it's actually 4 frames that you hold it for. It's probably a tiny bit longer than that, possibly. Maybe, I don't know. And yeah, then I get a rising bounce off this guy. If I jump too early, then I will simply bonk here and die. Yeah, so there's a lot of damage boosting in this level. Full jump as soon as you hit this platform, and that'll get you under this boulder every time. Make sure to get that barrel. You can't go too fast here. Also, in 3D and HD, you can't actually roll onto these platforms. Just do a full jump around here and do a grab so you don't hit bonk off the ceiling and die. And yeah, you can do the grab thing there as well. If by this point I'm already on 3 hearts for some reason, so if I've lost a heart somewhere in that section, I'm not at full health, this hit is the one you should wait for this guy, so kind of wait for him to go up and then bounce over and jump over him. Otherwise, if you're on full health, then you're good to go. And to go through that as well. Conversely, if you get to this point and you're somehow on 1 heart, then you can wait for a single boulder here, and then jump and then go. In the previous set of boulders you actually can't, you have to wait for 2 before you can go. So if for some reason you get past that point and you have like, you can only take 1 damage boost, take the first one and wait for this one. But ideally you take all of them, of course. I like to try and land on this platform a little bit early, so do a quick short hop and then I jump. I kind of try and jump right around here, so between like the 3rd and 4th big ones. And yeah, from there, you'll be stuck on the slope a little bit, but just keep shaking the Wii remote and eventually we'll get a roll out. And then do a short hop and then another quick jump. So remember we're starting 6-6 without Diddy. Do a quick short hop, quick like short hop-ish. Another quick jump. You don't have to do this, but I like to go for this. Quick short hop, pull back a little bit, and then I land on the edge of this platform. And then a jump into a grab against the ceiling. Short hop there, short hop there. Full bounce, of course. Be really careful around this seesaw, by the way. If you jump too early, or... yeah, there are a variety of ways you can not be high enough here. Just kind of have to hope that doesn't happen, or get used to it. Cancel the roll. So just do a hard pullback to cancel the roll, and then kind of drop it after a little while. And then hold left, and then tap left again. So you can actually face to the left and roll immediately when you land. Just kind of got to get used to the momentum you need there. Short hop when you hit both of the first bones here. Quick roll jump here, and yeah, this part's pretty self-explanatory. Alright, rolled a little bit late there. Short hop shortly after I hit the checkpoint, because the thing will start moving as soon as you like land on the ground. This section's kind of like auto-scroller, in a way. I say kind of because how fast you get past this part does actually matter. I like to full jump when I'm at this very conveniently marking. I like to full jump when I'm at this very convenient marking on the ground. Yeah, not sure exactly how it works, but it does make the little guy come down sooner. This jump's kind of ballsy, just saves a very tiny bit of time. If you go for this, do not hold right too early, or you will walk straight into him and die. do the grab thing right here. So you can go against that wall. Oh yeah, that's the part where it baits you. 6-7. In the time attack, you actually go into the bonus room in the subtle. I forgot to mention that in 2-5. So, yeah, just learn the movement there separately. Also because you start with Diddy in a run, ideally. You do the grab thing there. These platforms are assholes. Never go too early on these platforms. You cannot trust them. While you can land on them quite early, is more often than not that you'll think you're going to land on it, and then you actually fall right through and you die. So never test your luck with these platforms too much. Take my word for it. You'll see why. Yeah, fairly tight neutral bot there. Land quite far on this platform. Go for a quick roll jump. I actually hit the momentum mounts here. If you don't hit the momentum mounts, just hover as necessary to sort it out. I like to jump pretty much when I'm dead in the center here, and that actually lets me get over without hovering, but obviously that's quite risky. What I was going for here, oops, wrong way, was a rising bounce. If I jumped maybe a frame later, I would have gotten a rising bounce, and I would not have needed to hover here. Reason why that matters is because in this next section, I can no longer go for Vine Strat, as it's called, where I would go straight from this first platform to the Vine. So instead, I wait for the second one. And I'm too ballsy with it. And yep, I took a death in the world record. Thankfully, I actually show off Vine Strat immediately after this, so here's what it looks like. Also, I do not recommend going for it if you are playing with Wiimote. It's significantly more difficult with Wiimote because of the thing where you're grabbing while trying to hover. So, kind of jump just before DK overlaps with this. The main thing you want to take into account here is do not hold the grab button until you're around the vine. Because if you hold it earlier, DK will kind of like reach his arms out aimlessly. And yeah, that just kind of causes him to lose speed, so he won't actually grab it most of the time. But if you wait, then it should work most of the time. It works consistently enough that I'm willing to go for it in runs. Provided I get the rising mounts before. 6A is based on global cycles. There are kind of two cycles we're trying to hit here. Well, actually no, there's like one cycle I'm trying to hit. But another cycle is part of it. Really the movement kind of explains itself here. I wasn't feeling too confident about how fast this was, so I went for kind of slightly risky movement here. Holding right, smallest big bounce, and then like around about here I'm holding left, and I get a ledge hop here, and that lets me do a quick roll jump. So now I should have more than enough leeway to make this next cycle. You can only do short hop and hover here on Wii, and yet that just lets me get it. Do not go too early here. The fast movement here is to start holding right about now as you bounce on the spring, and go for a very quick roll jump into a rising bounce. If you don't get that, then you'll probably take damage or just miss the bounce entirely, which doesn't matter too much because you can recover it. And it really only saves a very small amount of time by letting you get into the last cannon a bit earlier. Like, saves a couple attempts. It's probably not worth it unless you're going for 118 or lower. I'm going to put 6B on 2 times speed. Or like 1.5 times speed. This is the longest level in the run. At least hopefully it's the longest level in the run. Hopefully 7B and 8B aren't too mean. Right, he'll always do a mid-walk in the first phase. Right here. When he does this, you want to stick as far to the other side as possible, so he has to walk as little as possible. Nothing you can really do to speed this up. I'm gonna hang around here-ish. Right, and we'll go back to normal speed for this. 1, 2, 3. So the one is when he starts charging, the 2 is when you jump, and the 3 is when he hits the wall. Let's go through that again. I use that same audio cue for the last phase, by the way, when he does the same thing. So 1, 2, 3. And if he gives you a short walk here, then you'll just have to hover a tiny bit, hold right a little bit, and then you'll land on him easily. If he gives you a mid or a long walk, you'll have to adjust as necessary. Back to fast speed. Right. In this section, damage boost on the fireballs. That just lets you skip an entire attack for free, pretty much. He will also always give you a heart, which is really nice of him. Remember the cue here. Got quite lucky here and I got a short walk. Yeah, the second and third... in the second and third phases, the length he walks is random. You'd like it to be short each time, but obviously really down to luck. And wow, we're in 7-1 now. Hopefully you still have Diddy, but if you don't, then it doesn't take long to get him back. You kind of do a full jump there instead of a small short hop. Then you can kind of grab Diddy right before you land and then do a short hop with no roll to yeah, then roll on there, roll jump, and get over here. I wait quite a little bit here, and then I full jump, and then I quickly pull back and then immediately hold forward again. This is easier to do on a nunchuck than a D-pad, for the record. Fairly small jump here. You can go from this platform, but it's quite risky, I don't recommend it, it saves barely any time. Go from this one, I'd recommend. Can be a bit of a scary jump still. I'd recommend staying on full health here. Yeah, roll on there so this platform has a bit more time to move over. You can do a full jump here. Wait for this guy. Right here I go for a strat that doesn't always work, but it's nice when it does. Have to be fairly quick in this section, and then fairly tight timing here. A jump, and then I do a grab against this pipe. And that just barely gets me over the guy, so I can skip a hit, save half a second. Full jump when you get to the other side of the megaphone here. And then another immediate full jump. Full jump as you go off that platform, and then cancel the roll onto the button. And if we quickly look at this shadow here, it's kind of split into two halves. You can jump when the first half goes off screen, basically. So like right about now. Yep. Like that. 7-2. Do not go too early there. That's a really embarrassing way to die. Full jump here, and then grab to not bonk off here. Just glide down. Full jump as you go off that conveyor belt. Another full jump quickly. You can roll across all these gaps. Grabbing against a wall is a lifesaver here. As you can see, I bonked against it there. Yeah, it makes it so much more consistent. Not too much you can do in this section, honestly, just don't get hit. It's not even the end of the world if you do get hit, to be honest. Roll across a bunch of these gaps. Intentionally just take damage here. No use trying to save the hit. You have to wait for these ones. Do try and be quite fast here. It'll be quite fast to get past that one. And the shop we get, the key and banana juice. 7-3, quick, short hop. Okay, so we're just DK as a recap. Quick short hop, then another quick short hop, and then just chuck Diddy when you land. Then wait for this to go up. Then do a roll jump, pull back a little bit, and then hold forward again. Hopefully you get onto the water substance thing. Rest of the level's not too bad from there. Full jump as you go off the platform here. Short hop as you as the edge of DK is flush with the edge of the hands or fingers. Kind of pull back and then shortly after do a full jump as you get there. Try and land on the right-ish side of this block and then do a quick jump. Like that. And then you can, if you want to, you can try and go for a strat here where you cut this very close. The closer you cut the jump to that hand, the faster you'll be. And you might be fast enough to make it here without having to do an extra roll. And the reason why that matters is as soon as you land on these hands, this cannon will activate and start moving towards you. So if you can do that, you'll be going as fast as possible. But if you can tell you've gone too slow, just do an extra jump. Save yourself a needless death. 7-5 is the first of the switch levels, and it operates on cycles, kind of. I say kind of, it certainly does. To be honest, I don't exactly know how the switch room affects the cycles. Kind of just copied the movement I'm doing here. Annoyingly, you can't really practice this level, and also 7-7 on a completed file, which just kind of sucks. A quick short hop there, land on the edge here, and then cancel the roll. This thing takes a while. This thing's boring. This bit of movement's quite important. Short hop as I kill that guy, full jump, and then wait, and then shoot. Do not go too early there. It's kind of waiting here. A bit of skip was just waiting. I've just gone through a lot, haven't I? Quickly recap this. So, don't go too early here. Of course. Short hop kind of there, and then another short hop to get up to a flat part of it. Yeah. I mean, what more can I really say about that? Just kind of hang around here for a little bit until this bit's high enough to let you get up here. And then, if you're fast enough, and you're feeling confident, you'll be able to shoot right in here. If you are not, and it's easier if you know you're not fast enough, just wait. Wait for this one to come around. It's better than being cocky and taking a death. 7-6 is quite a difficult level execution-wise, especially the ending. It's very tough. You can go for a nice ceiling boost there. To get here a little bit faster. This middle section's quite self-explanatory, definitely the easiest section of the level. It's a nice break section. Sometimes you'll do that bounce and the switch won't activate, it's quite rare. If that happens, don't panic, just get this switch instead. Nothing you really do here affects your time too much. Right, ending section. So we're on 3 hearts here. Do a short hop at the edge of the platform here and eventually go down to just DK here. I do a roll jump here, you don't really have to, you can just do a roll, let it die out, and then do another roll. Might have to hold neutral or left a little bit depending on how far you land on the platform. This is the most annoying case of oscillation in the run. You're hoping that DK can activate the switch from here. Sometimes he just can't and there's nothing you can really do. You just have to grab this and then grab it and like hit it and then go back and do the section a little bit differently. But hopefully you can do this. And really, even if you don't get it, you can still kind of do the same thing. You might take damage there though. It's fine to take damage there though, because there's a heart right here. So either way, you'll be bouncing on this chicken, and then hitting the switch. Grab the ceiling, grass, chains, things. Drop down, grab this one. Quick full-ish jump. If you're quite far on the platform, you might not need to do a full jump to grab this switch. If you take damage on this guy, which is basically what happens if you're a bit slow, be a bit careful in the ending section. Your iframes will still last up to this point though. If you don't have iframes by this point, wait for the guy to finish shooting, and then you can go and do this ending strat. As normal. 7-7 is one of the hardest levels in the run, probably. And it's made worse by the fact that you can't really practice it very conveniently. I'm trying to make this cycle here. I have to be fairly fast in the beginning. Now, of note in the beginning is also, don't take damage on this hammer. Wait for it, then go past it, potentially take damage here, roll through this guy and then do a quick hop when I hit him. Yeah, I'm trying to get on top of this symbol here. I actually risked being too fast here, in which case I would have died. So don't do that. Yeah, the movement here kind of explains itself to some extent. You'll probably take damage on these hammers. Then if you are here, so on the second hammer, or where the second hammer will be, you can go immediately after these hammers go back up. So like, yeah. Oh, I wait a little bit. I'm really slow to react there, wow. Yeah. Don't be too slow or else these hammers can catch you. They nearly did there. Wait here because for some reason there's an invisible fire hitbox here the first time you get here. Trying to lock my position again. Yeah. This section is hard to explain, and I really don't even do it that optimally here. You can definitely go like a cycle faster if you don't hesitate so much. You can get a weird jump with those water jets into the cannon earlier. With these first two big hammers, the jump that... okay, so when they hit the thing to send me up, I want to be rolling right before that happens, so I can do a roll jump. And that aids in getting further on the platform sooner. I'll do it again here. I can do a quick jump to get over here. Don't bother with the last one. It doesn't really let you get... Unless you time the jump perfectly, you don't hit the last one any sooner. 7R, there is nothing to explain. Only thing with 7R is hold up. Like, hold to the ceiling at the very end. That's literally it in 7R. 7B. Nota bene for the beginning. If you need to get Diddy, be careful when grabbing him so that if you're trying to grab the grass at the same time, so say if you like trying to roll jump here, grab the barrel, be sure you throw the barrel before you grab again, because you don't want to just almost jump off the level. And at the beginning of 7B is really just... he's just going to walk around twice before he does anything, so we're going to skip that. And then position yourself between the 3rd and 4th cogs here. Intentionally take a damage boost. He can just come down the first time. So he can take up to 3 jumps in hits like this. If he doesn't, go to the middle. And then I got lucky there. If I didn't, I would go back over to that first position I was in. The thing that's important is that you do not want him to be flush with the wall. Absolutely do not have him flush with the wall after this first hit, because if he's not flush with the wall, he'll give you the second hit for free, which is really nice. And from here, I'm standing around here, just a bit right of centre. At this point, he can choose to do 2 just walks around the arena, which just really sucks. I got extremely lucky, he didn't do either of those, and he gave me a first try jump. It was very kind of him. And whatever side you killed him on, or that's morbid. Whatever side you got out of his first phase on, you want to go to the opposite side now. That's where he's going to start chucking his chickens. So, I didn't have to kill this one. It was a bit risky to go for killing it, because I could have risked getting hit here, which would have messed up the triple hit. Triple hit could really have a tutorial of its own. But one of the important parts is not being in invincibility frames, because that will prevent you from being moved by the cockpit. Pun fully intended. So to kind of go for triple hit, and no, I'll explain that after. To go for triple hit, do a full bounce, and then very quickly pull back, and then right before you're about to hit the cockpit again, start holding left again. That's if you're doing it on the left side. So, full bounce, and I pull back, and I start holding left again and hovering. A whole load of jank. This is just extremely jank, there's kind of no way around it. I've ended up here, which now means I can do this. I get that second hit kind of around the middle, which is a bit sketchy. From here, he's going to start going to the opposite side again, so if you're in this situation, absolutely start holding in that direction and pray that it works, which it did for me. Barely. How close was that? Yikes, that's really close. Oh yeah, this is a frame. That's kind of funny. And for the record, triple hit is easier on the right side. Because on the left side, you can go too far to the left. There is a gap between the cockpit and the wall on the left side. There is not on the right side. Also in 8-1, do not forget to equip the juice. Right, for 8-1, full jump when you're around the middle of this... When you look for this little thing here, jump when you're around the middle of it. And the quick full jump. You'd like to get a momentum bounce here, but obviously that won't happen super often. Which might lead to you taking another hit there. This section's really sketchy, it kind of messes up. I'd recommend watching Minus's PB. 117.47 for how to do that section. He does that a lot better than I do. Ceiling boost up there. And you shouldn't run out of hits, really, if you're careful enough. Well, I say careful in the level where we're taking like 10 damage boosts. Shouldn't run out of hits if you Don't take too many extras. Really, this whole bit of movement kind of explains itself to some extent. Make sure to try and pull back as early as possible there so you can roll as soon as you land. Also, I do a quick jump and a ceiling boost here. I jumped a bit too early here and I hit the ceiling. You can jump around here and then pull back a little bit to clear the sky completely. Doesn't matter too much if you don't. And I still had all my normal hits left there. 8-2, the important bit is the beginning. I do a short hop here, then I actually do a very quick hover, intentionally. That gets these fireballs into a much nicer position for me to do the beginning more cleanly, and there's nothing to mention in the auto-scroller. In 8-3, there are a couple things. In 3D and HD, you can do a pound there to stop your momentum, which is kind of cool. Alright, so in this first cart section, don't touch anything, or specifically don't jump at all. Because what you want to do, you want to pass through this minecart. No, you want to pass through this rail right here. If you jump at all, that will not happen, which will lead to you landing on this one later, which will lead to you getting less vertical momentum, which will lead to this jump not being possible. And for this jump, you can just use the pillar as a visual cue. Also, I've heard that jump is not possible in some versions of the game. For the record, I don't know the specifics of versions in this game, so unfortunately I can't help you there. But it is apparently not possible for some people. Kind of normal minecart section. None of the movement really matters. Full jump, a bit before you hit this banana here. Doesn't hit to do a grab there. You can full jump pretty much when you're directly above this light metal bit here. If you're using this guide for HD or 3D, wait a little bit before rolling here, but on Wii you can just go straight ahead. Full jump when you hit that guy, and then yeah, really simple. Yeah, this section, yeah, it kind of explains itself, and then the rest, there's nothing really to note. Sorry, I had to cut there due to background noise. 8-5 is one of the scariest levels, and it's scary if you don't have Diddy. If you don't have Diddy, you should do a full jump and then go here, and then you can do the same movement from here. Full jump, just above a short hop, pull back, and a full jump. At this point, I'm actually not even looking at DK, I'm looking at this platform. Because when this bit closes, is when I can roll. See that? Just happens to line up really nicely with that fireball there. And you have to be fairly fast to make it through this bit without getting squished. These fireballs are in random positions, so you kind of have to adapt. But sometimes you can just roll straight through like that. Actually, fairly frequently on Wii. 3D and HD, you're much more likely to have to take a hit there. Wait for it to come down a bit, and then I've got to be quite fast here to go for this cycle. And I actually missed it in record. I jumped a little bit too early here, so I wasn't going to make it to this platform. I'd like to jump a bit later there, so I can make it over here. Yeah, and that would allow me to kind of get here before this bit comes down. I didn't get that, but it's completely fine, just gotta wait a little bit. For the record, if you happen to land on this platform in some way, you can literally just do a continuous roll down to here, like that. Make sure to get that Diddy barrel as well. Some quick roll jumps here. Yeah, kind of this part explains itself. The way I love to do this section is to wait until I go off this platform completely, and then do the slightly above short hop jump height that I keep mentioning, and then wait, and then grab. And that should allow me to get underneath this fireball. Full jump when I'm flush with the edge there, and grab against that. Boom. 8-5. Very scary, but it can be consistent. 8-6 is the same story, really. I do a short hop there, another short hop there to delay a little bit, and then, yeah. Again, this kind of not too much to explain here. Roll and then cancel it. Try and go quite early there, so you have plenty of leeway to make this work. If you're a bit slower, then that fireball will be a lot closer to the edge of this platform, and you might not be able to make it without taking a hit. It's not the end of the world if that happens, for the record. Make sure to do a hover there. You can make that without a hover, but better not risk it. Wait a little bit. Use the bananas as a cue there. This bit's... Yeah, I've just skipped through a lot of their sending here. Let's go back about 10 seconds so you can kind of see when to line it up. So when this one comes, after that is when you want to start setting it up. So there are two versions of the fast ending here. This is the faster ending, where I wait on this platform. You can go a bit further to the left than this, but for safety purposes I'm going quite far to the right here. I wait, I full jump. I actually full jumped a bit too early, so I got to hover a little bit. Don't input anything from here. And then wait until I take damage here. And then I immediately go into a roll. Roll, short hop, another roll. I jump as soon as I go off screen. And then I hover when I'm around about here, vertically. Yeah. And the alternative is to not go there, but rather wait over here. So wait over here and then the fireball will hit you here instead. And that makes it much more consistent. You lose about a second compared to the faster ending that way. But it does work very consistently. It's not that scary even though it looks scary. Right, I'm 8-7. The thing I'm going for here is I want to anticipate this next platform coming up, so I do a full jump before it actually indicates coming up. That's just the way I've come to set it up. Quick jump and then grab. I want to get here as quickly as possible. I just want to be as fast as possible in this section. If I accomplish that, I can get over here and land on this platform without even needing to hover. From there, wait for the second platform to get kind of high, do a full jump like that. And yeah, I heavily recommend practicing a lot of these levels outside of time attack, just because like having Diddy at the start is so crucial, especially in this one where you don't get a single Diddy barrel. To be honest, rest of this is just kind of watch and learn, really. Not too much I can say about the climb, I don't think. Just kind of got to practice it a lot. Be careful of ledge hops. Anticipate if you're going to get a ledge hop and how it might affect the jump you're about to do. For this bit, do a full jump right as that platform comes out. That platform's not immediately tangible, but yeah, that cue works every time. I'll be really careful here, I nearly actually fell off here. There is a way you can recover that, I'll link the clip for that. I grab to avoid bonking there so I can not be shunted over to the right of that platform. I'm not staying too close to the wall there. I'm jumping, full jump, then I'm just tapping left just so I turn around. I'm facing left, and I can barely get a roll out there. Alternatively, just wait a little bit on it, or jump and hover, whatever works for you, and just mash straight to the end. And 8B is the biggest RNG wall in the run, and it's rather inconveniently the final boss. Auto-scroll explains itself. Remember to stick high at the end, like in 7R. Right, as soon as you get into the boss, so right before he goes to put his hands down by the side, do a roll, and then jump fairly late, so around the crack here. That way, if he puts his hand high here, then you'll hit it, but if he doesn't, then you'll still hit it. First hit is always free. That is, he always gives you a chance to get the first hit. And then it doesn't matter which hand he hits you with next. It doesn't matter if he like gets it down to one hit on both hands or he knocks out one hand entirely first. What matters next is that from here, he can choose to have his palm up or down. You'd assume it's like a 50-50 chance. If he has it up, you of course can't hit him, and I got unlucky. If you can get the hit, then it's really nice. He will always give you a hit here, regardless of whether you got the earlier hit or not. Of course, if you got the earlier hit, then the first phase would end here. But because I didn't get it, he'll try again, and I got really unlucky here. Each successive palm up loses like 4 seconds. So, and finally, just to really rub it in, I got it a third time, which is the worst possible luck in the first phase. That loses about 12-13 seconds. Really unlucky, but at least I got to show off what happens. Now the second phase. So he kind of occupies like a 2... Okay, so you can kind of look at these 8 segments on the ground. He'll occupy a 2-segment wide area. So I kind of stay to like... not too far, but like clearly in like the second segment I tend to prefer. Or the right segment. As soon as he locks in his position, move out, and then... yeah. You can kind of just get used to the timing. Now here I got really lucky and he gave me a double hit. This is the best thing that can happen in the second phase, getting a double hit. And no, he can't do a triple hit, but he can do a variety of attacks in between phases. This one is very self-explanatory to avoid. The best attack to get between phases is the dip, where he goes just across the screen. That's a really quick attack, and it kind of eats up his attack power if you want to think of it that way. That is how many attacks he can do between letting you hit him. If he gives you the attack where he spins in place and sends out a bunch of fire guys, the best way to deal with that is stay on the opposite side, jump up shortly after he shoots them out to lure them high, and then roll underneath them. But thankfully I only got 4 rounds of these guys. So after that I realise he's probably going to do a hit, so I get in position, and boosh. And a quick timing note, timing does end the frame you land the hit, so that would be right here. That's the last frame of the run. Although it is a bit hard to hit that in real time. But yeah. I know this is really scuffed, and I would like to produce a decent guide for this game at some point in the far future. But for now I think this should answer a few of your questions, hopefully. Yeah, I hope you have fun getting into this game if you do choose to pick it up. And sorry that this doesn't really cover everything in 3D and HD. I just feel I'm more qualified to talk about the original Wii game, even though I play all 3 versions. Yeah. That's about all I have for now, but I hope you have fun with this game. We are out.